Hello and good evening and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. Oh, we are excited tonight. We got our brother back. Woo, 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 woo.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
We are so glad. Huh?
It's a full house.
Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. All y'all back now. None of y'all
back.
But we do want to thank DeMarco for an awesome time, being with us last week, standing. Great show, guys. If you missed last week's show, you need to go back and hear a lot of nuggets were dropped last week from my brother DeMarco. So, and he'll be back probably in another couple of weeks. So he's going to come back and spend a little bit more time with us again while he has a free moment. So we're excited about getting him back in the flow once again. But I'm so happy to see my brothers. Yes. All the ball heads are back together again. We've been to shine on stuff today, boy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Want to welcome you guys definitely to our All Things Oscars Part 2. All right, so we're going to dig into some good stuff, tonight, the controversial thing we bring Jamie Lee and Angela Bassett, in terms of the win and, kind of give you guys from some actors' perspective and how you really kind of should look at it, whether you agree with it or not is another thing. But at least you have a better understanding about that. So we'll get into that a little bit, talk a little bit about the fashions, talk a little bit more about Chris Rock, okay, how that stuff is just circling again. And we're going to talk about Donald Trump going to jail. So yes,
that's going to be something
exactly.
That sounds like a celebration.
I know, right? And then we'll talk about the controversy down in Mississippi as well. Okay, so we got a full packed house with the fellas tonight. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. So let me check in with my brothers and see how things. Parnell, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome home. So how was Michigan?
Michigan was wonderful. I think a shout out to all the folks over there at the Meadowbrook Theater for treating our cast with such care and respect and professionalism. I would love to go over. Actually, I have my Blues in the Night little mug that was given to me from our dresser.
Okay.
So, as I drink my beverage, which may or may not be alcoholic.
What do you call it? A beverage?
Beverage, yes. Because I'm fancy. But it went by so fast.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
it doesn't seem like you were gone that long, you know. I mean, it wasn't that long, like it was like a lifetime,
Right. Yeah.
But no, it did. It went absolutely really fast, which was good. So tell us about your audiences and everything. How were they?
Oh, the audiences were great. I mean, it's an older crowd there because it's a really more affluent neighborhood and everything.
Right.
So a little more money and a lot less color, but
okay. Yeah, Rochester's that way. That's for sure.
The truth, right?
Yes, Rochester definitely that way.
It was really good because we're right on the campus of Oakland University, so a lot of students coming through. So you got some students, you got some grandparents, and all that kind of stuff. But really wonderful crowds. Surprisingly enough, the Wednesday matinees, actually all the matinee performances have the biggest audiences.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, all of y'all are here free on Wednesday afternoon at 2:00. All right.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good. Hey, I mean, that's oddly speaking, but that's really good.
Yeah, it was great, and it was wonderful to have another show under my belt. So that was
So is he going to actually pick it up and tour it a little bit more? Or?
No, it's just part of their season.
Okay, I got you.
It was nice to see that Miss Linda.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Linda Curtis. Linda Curtis. Yeah, thank you, Linda, if you're watching tonight, but for supporting our brother. That was so good. Tell me, on the part of I was going to let you tell about her. What you guys did together.
Oh no, it was great. Well, she messaged me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're only about 45 minutes away from us," or something like that. We love to come and see. So she and two of her kids came out to catch the show, and then afterwards we went out and had a little nosh and stuff at little sports bar that's right across the street from the campus and hung out for a little bit. So it was nice to just see friends of the show in person.
Yes. See, we all celebrities. See, people want to come see you everywhere now. Here, we're going to watch you. You got to get your guards at your front door if they know where you live. Now, wherever it is in Charlotte, somewhere, but we got to get you in that gated community with your mansion. So, how are you?
I am good. I'm really good.
Good. Anything exciting this week with you?
Well, exciting, but we can't discuss it on camera.
Oh man, this is the truth behind the truth.
Well, we're going to tell that truth. I'm refreshed. I'll say that. I'm refreshed.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Well, we missed you truly last week. We were looking for your insight last week, and you weren't here. But we understand you had to do a little vacationing. I get it.
Yes.
Refreshing of the body and spirit and mind, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Is that what we're calling it?
That's what we're calling
it. Notice I said body first. Okay. then the mind, then the spirit came in. Okay?
Right.
What's your shirt say?
Salutations and such.
Okay, I thought it said something else. I saw the SU down at the bottom. I was like, wait a minute.
No. This brand was nice enough to send this to me.
Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's good. I love the t-shirts. I definitely do. By all means. So anyway, let's go ahead and dig in.
Well, how you guys doing?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right, to be honest with you. Finally, I don't know how long you've been here since Parnell, since you did the show in Michigan, but it's been raining like crazy, and then the weather's been kind of up and down lately out here. It's gonna rain tomorrow, so it's been kind of. St. Patrick's Day was yesterday as well, so it just feels kind of, I don't know, it just don't feel like LA weather, but it's slowly but surely it's coming back. But we've been doing okay. We've been doing okay.
Yeah,
thank God.
Moving in different directions. Because I think the universe is doing some shifting. You know what I mean? And I think it's just you got to move with it when it starts shifting. So you don't want to miss this move. As they always say. Yeah. So, but I'm excited. I'm excited for opportunities and and great things coming our way. And we just keep it moving. Because number one is that I always go. We say it every week until the day it happens that this show has got to go on network TV. So we're making effort to make it perfected. To get that way. Somebody say yes. Y'all gonna replace Dr. Phil. Just as simple, okay?
Well, somebody needs to replace him because, to be honest with you,
why not us?
Why not us? Yeah.
I want to say good evening to Miss Alma. Thank you for our faithful viewer, Miss Alma.
Yeah,
the mother of our dear executive producer. So welcome, Miss Alma. Thank you for tuning in tonight once again. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and dig in, okay? Before we go to the quick break, but I do want to mention a few people because I know we're gonna flip flop between. Talking about Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee, but I always want to give a few names or shout outs to some people that responded to the post that I put out, the other day, just the conference, see what their opinions were, because it's good to hear what people's opinions are, and hopefully that when we get into it, maybe after the break, it'll probably be the appropriate point to get into it. Then we'll, let you know what. And I know the guys are going to speak a little bit things that they wrote, that you said. I should say it may not in detail, but kind of highlight on that. So, but I want to give a shout out to Charles Godby. I mean, he gave a great explanation at his point. Want to give a shout out to Lynn Taylor, as well. Lear Johnson as well. Rona Ward, excuse me, I'm sorry. Josh Alvin, and so far with Kenneth Cofield. So I want to give a shout out to those guys and thank you for giving your chime in, and hopefully we're going to mention some of your points tonight when we go further into this deep in this controversy. It shouldn't be that big of a controversy, but it is at the end of the day. But anyway, so did you guys have mention about something real quick before we? I'm going to save that till after break because I know it's going to be a little lengthy there for us to talk about that.
Oh, I was like, let's go for it.
You want to go ahead? All right, let's go and dig in. I don't know how much longer we got time for break, but the queue ain't came up yet, so maybe we got time.
We got time.
Okay, we got time. Okay, cool. All right. So, anyway, so what it was, and I'll start it off, and you guys can take it from there. Is that most of the African American community thought that Angela was done an unjust, for not being awarded the Oscar, this past Sunday, and I understand their feelings, and that because they feel like that everything's typically taken away from them for different reasons, and things of that nature. So here's the pro of the con, okay, when you're an actor, okay, and this is strictly coming from an actor. This is not coming from a position of black and white or whatever the case may be, or personal feelings that it is, okay. When you're an actor, okay, you're rated based on a performance, okay, and here's the thing. If you have not seen other films, it's not fair to say that somebody should have won over something else when you haven't had the other film to comparison. Now, I understand you. Hey, we love it and beautifully dressed. Oh my God, she looked phenomenal. We ain't got to the red carpet and talk about dress yet, but when you have personal feelings like that, I get it. I mean, we all have reasons like we want to see somebody win because of that and their body of work. Okay, so. That's where it gets a little sketchy, all right, at the end of the day. And whether you feel like Jamie Lee did a great job or not, did you see the film? That's the question. Okay, so if you didn't see the film, you cannot say reversely that it was done fair. Now, I've got another little pin I'm going to drop into this conversation in a little bit after I hear what the guys say, about it, because my personal opinion, I think that somebody else in Black Panther did a better job. And I'll show you why, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm see if you guys agree. But anyway, go ahead, partner. What's your thought?
Well, it's interesting because I did see both movies, and and I like both Jamie Lee and Angela. Of course, I've been fans of both of theirs for decades.
Right.
And it's always so interesting to see what people's perspectives are. A lot of people feel like, oh, Jamie Lee is a Nepo award, just because her parents were famous actors and stuff. I said, they've been dead for years. But it's not like, you know what I'm saying? And she has earned her own merits. And that movie was wild. It was a wild and crazy movie. It was really out there, just seeing it together. And a lot of people feel that Stephanie Sue should have won.
I remember saying that
for what is it? The supporting actress,
right?
And it's all of it is so subjective. And yes, there is politics involved in as well. Right. And of course, yes, we all agree that Angela should have won for What's Love Got to Do with It,
right?
But you and I, we always, a lot of actors, we already know. People rarely win the Oscar for what they should have gotten it for. A lot of times they'll get it later. Well, they should have got it for so and so, so let's give it to them this time.
Right.
But I love that the sentiment that people are going like, whether she has an Academy Award or not, Angela's always our queen.
Absolutely.
We always root for her. Absolutely. And what got on my nerves is people like, oh, I can't believe that. That's just so unprofessional of her to show her disappointment. Like, she's a human being and she wanted that award. It's okay for her to have a second of, oh man, didn't mean she wasn't happy for Jamie Lee Curtis or anything like that. But guess what? Black women can have a moment to be disappointed that they didn't win an award.
Absolutely. Right. Well, to that point, I'm sorry to cut you off here. To that particular point, I mean, to me, that showed the human. At the end of the day, because when you've had a lot of pomp and circumstance around you winning, and everybody in the media says that you're going to win, and everything was the signs that, and when it doesn't happen, I don't care who you are, you're gonna be like, what the, it's gonna catch you for a moment. At the end of the day, Harold, go make your point, but then we'll go to break. I'm sorry. I knew we were done.
No, that her reaction was a very natural reaction. We're just so used to people putting on masks and pretending. I mean, that was a very honest and authentic reaction, and time out for trying to make other people feel comfortable with our expressions. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good.
The same thing. I thought she was giving homage to when Michael lost all those Grammys in '88 after when he did the. But it's just people gonna always give their opinions when when it's not needed. So you're not living in the moment.
That part, D, when it's not needed.
Right.
When it's not needed.
When it's not. Because you're not sitting there in front of a camera.
Right.
Taking it all in.
Right.
That's a natural impulse. Exactly. Like, what was she supposed to do? Like, she could have cried.
She's supposed to smile, I guess.
I mean, she could have clapped her hands or do something. Right. Lift her hair. What was she supposed to do?
Right.
I'm going to let you continue that on as we come back from the break. We'll be right back from this break with All Things Oscar. Okay, well, we will wait until we go.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby. Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight on part 2 of All Things Oscars and most stuff. All right, go ahead and finish your point, dude.
Oh, well, you know, to be honest with you, like I said, you know, those Twitter gangsters, they always got something to say. But you know, when I saw it, when we sat there and saw it, we even said, oh, that, you know, she didn't look, you know, happy to have lost. Right. And to be honest with you, I was one of those people who wanted her to win. Mm-hmm. I really wanted her to win because, you know, because of the situation with What's Love Got to Do with it. And then on top of that, there were people who were interviewing her prior to her to that event, telling her that she was the up and coming winner, and she had won so many industry awards before the Oscars. You kept thinking, oh, she might get it this year. So you was holding. Some of us was holding out hope that, oh, she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. She's gonna finally get her flowers. But when she didn't get her flowers, it did put like a. It was very disappointing. But I was happy for Jamie Lee Curtis, because you know this was her first win. I don't think she has ever won an Oscar herself, and she as well as Angela has been in the business for a long, long time. But it did give me a little bit of the side eye because she is a Nepo baby, and then you cannot beat out the fact that your daddy is Tony Curtis and your mother is Janet Leigh, and you know if you know of them, you know of Hollywood royalty. But it's just the fact that, it didn't feel good. But, you know, hey, but who remembers who won last year anyway? Who remembers?
How are people making this assessment where they thought she was going to win? Isn't the voting anonymous by the 10,000 members? I mean, how are they coming to this conclusion?
It's usually by the other awards, like if you win like a Golden Globe or the Hollywood Foreign Press, whatever, or the SAG Awards, they're kind of like, well, that's a good indicator that you might win the Oscar. It doesn't always go their ways. It you know, because there's a lot of people have been surprised because they sweep all the other awards, then they get to the Oscars and nothing happens, or they don't even get nominated.
But it's like, I'm so sorry for cutting you off right now, but it was like Jimmy Kimmel said in the opening, you know, he said there were 2 movies that were never nominated. It was Till and Woman War. Woman King. Those 2 films were just as good, and it should have been nominated, but they weren't nominated. Look out for your girl in North Carolina, Fantasia. Now she's also been noticed in Variety and also in The Reporter that she is also on the verge of being nominated, which for The Color Purple. So, you know, when people are giving you that build up, you be thinking, oh, wow, this is going to really happen. But then you're disappointed when you feel like, when you see that it never happened. So you feel kind of slighted. So it's political. I think it was a political move for the Oscars, but you know, hey, who's gonna remember this moment? Everybody has won Oscars, but did they even get better money? Did they get did their money get big? Or see, that's the thing about the Oscars. I don't, you know,
not necessarily,
and
it doesn't guarantee them a job,
right? Well, I like what Asanda said from South Africa. He said, "Hey, all the way from South Africa. I was so disappointed when my queen didn't win. I address her as queen because all her roles she played, she does with such excellence, and she has such a powerful presence. She is undoubtedly one of the best actresses of our time. Perhaps God is preparing something bigger and better for her next year. Wow. We must congratulate Jamie Lee, for she too worked hard for this one."
Wow, yes, good. I like that. That's a very, very, very good, solid view. You know, I mean, viewpoint. I like people giving comments like that. You know, here express your disappointment, but at the same time, you have to be in the point of building it up too. You know, on the other side. Let me drop this nugget real quick, then we're gonna move on. So, you know, we're talking about quality of acting. Okay, you know, and what represents quality of acting in that. So y'all probably ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay, truth behind truth.
Well, we're used to it.
yeah.
Okay. So here it is. Okay. So in the film, okay, and we collectively did see Black Panther. Okay. My thing is that I don't think that she did the best performance in that film. Okay. Reason why is that I think Denai Guerrero did a phenomenal job and not even noticed in the film. Okay, because Denai character, I mean, she was on point every step of the way, you know, and her character illuminated and supported the whole film. Okay, and this is the thing we talk about: best supporting actor, whether it supports a film or lead character in a specific, lead actor in a specific character, you know. So, but Denai Guerrero, and I challenge you to go back and look at the film a little bit, audience wise, is that Denai moved. She was, if you don't remember her character, okay, she was the head of the army. Okay, she's the lead in the army. Okay, so but her display of disappointment when she was removed from her leadership. Oh my God. I mean, just the impact, just the tears, just the disappointment. You really actually felt for her, you know, in that moment. So I was looking at the quote unquote speech that you know they're saying that Angela gave, you know, typically in the film versus to what happened with Denai Guerrero. I think Denai Guerrero did a better job. Am I saying in terms of presenting the character and the character being led throughout the entire film? So that's just my thing. I mean, what do you think?
No, I mean, I agree, because there is sometimes, you know, somebody can give as equally powerful a performance and get looked over, you know, for the nomination for it. Because I definitely agree. I mean, she definitely, that character has had much more of a presence in the Black Panther movies than Queen Wanda. You know, that was just like that we've seen her in there. But, you know, that's all the politics of stuff of who gets you know, promoted, who gets nominated for stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, she was great, but we don't want to pit her up against Angela. So we only want to pick, you know, her to be it. But Denai also has a wonderful career ahead of her. She ain't going nowhere. She'll be around and establishing herself for years to come.
Exactly. What's your point here?
Well, don't take my black card away, but I haven't seen any of these. I haven't seen any of these movies.
That's it. Cut his camera now.
Oh my God! Where's my button? Oh my God! Okay,
Harold,
give me a moment.
I recently saw Woman's King. I did see that recently.
Okay.
I'll see it eventually.
Okay.
What you think about this though? And you know, there was discussion about, you know, Marvel films. This would be one of the first Marvel films or Marvel actors, Angela Bassett's character being nominated for any award or an Oscar. But then you think about the other part, the other movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was the little engine that they thought couldn't, because it was, you know, it was a small indie film that didn't get a lot of backing. And on top of that, it had a lot of Asian actors with it, with Jamie Lee Curtis in the mix. But the fact that you know, that film didn't get the build up as Wakanda, but the fact that it did make all the you know, it was nominated and it got all the awards, it did prove a point or a narrative that, indie films are coming back. Like DeMarco said, independent films are making a comeback,
right?
And people are taking notice because they're not going along to get along with what Hollywood, not with Hollywood, but it's coming out differently in a more artistic way. And if you look at that film, I didn't get to see the film, but I did see some scenes where she had the hot dog fingers, Jamie Lee Curtis, and that weird blonde bob of a wig. I said, now no wonder she won the Oscars, because they had the doctor up there. There's a there's a thing in the Oscars where, well, not a thing, but it's a saying that if they make you look ugly and doctor you up and you this glamorous figure and they make you look all types of crazy, you're going to win the award. Right. I thought about that when I saw her character. I was like, what's with the hot dog? But you know what? It puts in perspective that those films that we don't care to look at or go to see are the films that are being watched.
That's true.
And are being voted on. And that, I'm like you said, if we're not paying attention to the whole entire scope of what's being out there, you are lost in the sauce. Right. And in that moment, I was a little lost in the sauce because I didn't care to go and see it. Right. But Parnell, you did go see it. Right. But that really threw me. I'm
looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure it's gonna be up.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie, and I think it's on one of the streamers or whatever. But it is long. It's like 3 hours and something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the average movie.
The Goonies did put their money behind it. We need.
Well, overall, how was the Oscars compared to last year? Was it?
Okay. It was, it wasn't exciting. I can say that. I mean, I think Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's Jimmy Kimmel. I like Jimmy Kimmel a lot. I think he did a good job bouncing back. I think that he did do a good job as to addressing the slap. In a way that it was the elephant, like he called it, the white elephant in the room.
It was just bland to me. It didn't have no sauce. It didn't have no oil. It was just bland, like the carpet itself. It was that was bland enough to let you know that they want to play it safe this year, because last year it was such an artistic triumph. Right. Because Will Packer really brought it home, but because of the slap. Right. I knew they were going to bring it back to this boring type of setup where it was just going to be thrown at you, all types of unknown faces that you don't see every day, performances that you just didn't care about because some of the singing wasn't all that great. Oh but the dancing from the India film,
that was phenomenal.
Good.
That was fantastic.
Yes, they deserved that. They deserved every bit of that award. That was on point.
It was.
But to be honest with you, boring award show this year. Will Packer, they need to bring him back.
Yeah.
But this is what I think with some of them is because we've seen so many that after a while you're like, okay, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I miss the Debbie Allen dance numbers that used to be, she did that for 10 years.
Right. Yes.
But after a while it gets like, okay, here comes the Debbie Allen dance number, no matter how, because it just becomes rote.
Right.
So it's, this is the 95th Academy Awards. Right. There's not too much, and there's been a streaker going across the stage. There's been people refusing their awards. There's been the wrong winner announced. Right. There's been the slap, and I'm just like, and I hope that we can put the slap to bed because I'm tired of hearing about the slap. Right. Every time somebody's like, and this, I'm like, oh my God, can we please let that die?
Well, the thing about it is, I think it was all the point dying down because number one, Will Smith is not missing a beat. I mean, no, he's not. The man has got 3 films that he's making $25 million each film. Okay, coming up, and he's already working on another, so it didn't hurt him any.
And he didn't kill nobody on set.
I mean,
that's what you need to worry about. The guy killed the woman on set,
right?
Instead of a slap, at least Chris got his money, but he didn't lose a wife, on set. I'm just saying, truth behind the truth,
right? True. I mean, I think that and here it is. Hopefully, at this point, that like as you said, Parnell, it's gonna dissipate, but it got inflamed again because of what Chris Rock did on his, on his show, and all that. And a lot of people are not liking that, at all. In terms of Black America did not like his show, you know, in terms of what he presented himself. So yeah, this is stuff that he
we can
said.
talk about that next time. After the
break. The stuff that he said, you know, was that they felt that it was very degrading, you know, and a lot of you know, Black Twitter. So we'll get into that, you know, after this quick break. Okay, then we'll move on. All right, we'll be right. Then we're going to talk about those fashions, and then we're going to talk about the worst and the best and all that type of stuff. All right, we'll be right back after this break. All right, and we are back with Jamie Lee Curtis holding her Oscar. I love it. All right. Well, you know, and I didn't get my smooth on Jamie. I'm very happy for her. I mean, I've been a fan of Jamie for a long time. You know, and and people at work mentioned about the Halloween movie. I said, that's not acting. Come on now, really. That's not in the category of what we call acting. Okay. You know, that's performing, you know, I mean, you know, you get a line, you perform, but that's not true acting. You know, I mean, love her dearly, but then she's made a lot of money. You know, was it 5 Michael Myers films? She did 6, 7, 8 of them, you know? Yes, it was too many. But anyway, we're going to talk about Chris Rock. We need to get into this real quick. Anyway, welcome back, guys. I'm running my mouth. So the Black Twitter, you know, I mean, a lot of the, you know, the social media, different ones, and typically African American, you know, they have really just went in about this. Number one, they were asking the question, why did he wear white in his performance? That, you know, that was kind of symbolizing something like he came out there, he was squeaky clean, and they kind of laid into that. And then they were, okay, they did.
Young people are a trip, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, true. Okay, and then the other part about it is that they really got offended when he got it. What was the part he said? He couldn't fight. He was taught not to fight in front of white people.
Oh yeah, that was the last statement that he made before he dropped the mic.
Right.
Yeah, I had 2 parents that taught me not to fight,
and that kind of like, what does that mean?
A lot of people, you know.
What does that mean? You know? I mean, I said, you know what? I rolled my eyes to that. I was like, for real, Chris? We just know you just don't fight regardless. Because if you have watched the show, Everybody Hates Chris, he never fought. He was always chased down by all of the, you know, the white kids at his school. And and I was telling somebody this on the job. If you really want to know everything about Chris Rock, if you want to know what his life was like growing up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, you have to watch the TV show Everybody Hates Chris, because it really, that night really showed me how much he really, you know, have this insecure feeling about himself and about his people in some form or fashion, because he went to an all-white school where the teacher mocked him all the time in front of a whole, in front of a whole class of white kids about his blackness, because he went to he was bused to an all-white school during the 70s, and there was a situation where that was going on where they were busing black kids, inner city kids, to white schools. But the fact that he had to deal with so much of that trauma, on top of that being bullied by white students, and having to deal with the fact that he was having to go back to Brooklyn and deal with that situation, I think it kind of really shaped his worldview of how black women are, and how black people are, and how he felt like, I have to separate myself from the perpetual stereotype. I can joke about it, but I have to separate myself in order to live in this white world that I've been having to get used to. And if you notice in the clip with Seinfeld and C.K. Lewis and some other where they were tossing the N-word around, and he was like, well, that's the most he was saying C.K. Lewis was the most blackest friend he has ever had. I call him my nigger friend. And he said, and Seinfeld was like, can you use that word? He was like, well, we can use it, but you can't. And I was like, boy, I was like, Seinfeld really woke up in that moment, because he was like, I would never use that word, and I would never be amused by that word. But he was, and they were all sitting there drinking and joking, but Seinfeld was like,
well, and
like,
then,
what the hell is this about?
Then the other guys, the other guy, whatever his name was, he said it,
nigger, with the ER, but
it just, that just opens up so much unnecessary dialogue, or opens up so much pain, for a lot of people. I mean, we've discussed that word on the show many, many times. My opinion, it just needs to go away. Period.
Yes, it does.
It just needs to be eradicated from the dictionary. I mean, at the end of the day, would be the best way to solve it.
What am I going to say then?
Don't
say the N word, and don't say Jip.
Jip, okay.
None of that.
But here's the thing, audience, go back and watch last week's show, because DeMarco gave a really great historic analogy on the word, and it was very, very good in the show. So if you want to listen, go back and see last week's show, because it was really, really good how he broke that down. But even in that point, and I support him and salute him in that, but that would take an involvement in the mental capacity of a lot of people, even to be able to accept that it represent, meaning that people of color meant God. So, but I don't get that too much to get into tonight.
That's the hope, that we got to get to Oscar fashion.
I know, that's right.
We get away from all that crazy.
But before we go to Oscar, we want to recognize real quick
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick that transitioned yesterday, matter of fact. And I don't think they know the cause of it. He was 60 years old, getting ready to do another film with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He was coming out. What was the new film he's doing?
John Wick.
Not Lance Reddick. No, I'm sorry.
Lance Reddick, but we don't know the new film.
New film that was coming out as well. But yeah, so we want to pay homage to him as well, and his great success, in the industry, and to since Speed of hugs to his family and what have you.
But he starred in The Wire.
The Wire as well.
So he was one of those great New York actors.
Absolutely,
he was one of those great actors.
Absolutely, John Wicks. That's it. Thank you, engineer, for that. But anyway, so we're gonna move on. But yes, so salute out to him, as well. So on to the best and worst dress. Okay,
I'm just tripping over your tongue tonight.
Okay, West. The best of the West, right?
It's like, so hello, I am Baba Wawa.
This is 2020.
This is 2020. Yeah. But in my opinion, I mean, I think that out of all, I think I still say I'm gonna have to give it to Angela. I really love the purple. I love the royal purple. The royal
color of royalty. Yeah.
Yes.
She killed that. Killed that.
Yes, she did. She really, really did. I love the necklace that she had with the all diamond, the snake that kind of went together. Michelle Yeoh, I love Michelle Yeoh as well. Very, very, very angelic. I really loved her. This young lady, I can't remember her name. She didn't need to be there. Okay. like we discussed, she looked like she had, what did she like? She threw one of her comforter on. You know what? I'm a creative fashion tonight.
Well, you know who really set it off? Selma Hayek.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But now that in the silver, I don't know her name, but I know of her activism within the
that's Malala.
Yes. You know, that dress reminds me of something that Adrian from the 30s, Gilbert Adrian.
Okay.
Like
vintage
an
Hollywood.
Vintage Hollywood, yes. And Rihanna, that like that.
You know. Okay, I'm all for, you know, I now this is just me. Now, y'all, I know fashion will ain't gonna agree with me on this, but y'all be all right. You know, I'm all with the expression of the baby bump, but it's a little too much. And every bit of fashion don't have to be representing the baby bump. We know you're pregnant, okay? You know, and everything that it seems like nowadays is like, okay, we're gonna accentuate this bump, you know, and it's just me, you know. I just think that just a little bit much. I mean, there's other things that you could wear, you know, you know, at the and
like what, a gunny sack? Come on, show off.
I mean, hey, you know, whatever, you know. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. Just a little bit too much, you know. And then I want to mention about Ashley Graham. Oh my gosh! All right, now. Beautiful as Ashley Graham is, she's such a beautiful, and she was one of the interviewers on, and she had a couple moments on the red carpet, but she's beautiful as she is. Okay, her outfit, you know, it kind of, I don't know if we have a picture of her outfit, but it was kind of like I Dream of Jeannie crossed, you know, the modern day event of the Oscars, and it just was not flattering. You know, I mean, because it looked like, really, honestly, she had a bathing suit on and just a light layer over it, you know, a black layer over it, and it just, and then, yeah, it just, I didn't think it was
scantily dressed as a Sierra. Was she?
No. We ain't got Sierra yet. Okay, you know, Sierra's gonna be on the delicate side of the conversation. Okay? But I just, you know, and then Ashley Graham, which has been more talked about than her outfit, was the run-in that she had, not really run-in, but the confrontational moment that she had with what's his name, the actor on the red carpet when she did the interview, and Lou, what's his name? Hugh Grant. Yes. Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really, really uncomfortable because he gave her really no feedback at all. One word answers. You know, you look, Sue's like, your suit looks nice, thank you. You know, now what are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing a suit.
The only one doing that.
You know, I'm wearing a suit. Okay, you know, we got it. But she felt very uncomfortable. And I'm a fan, actually. That's the outfit.
I didn't care for that one.
That's her outfit.
I didn't like that. She could have put like a long cape around that.
Well, I just think that the sheerness, you know, was just a little.
It just wasn't Oscar.
It just didn't, you know, it didn't, nice, you know, it didn't kind of go, you know, it kind of went. But anyway, so
moving up, show off her curvy figure.
Well, I mean, and she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I think she's a very, very beautiful woman. She's very, very beautiful. And she has worked hard to, you know, maintain that, especially being a plus size model. So I celebrate her. You know, she's really beautiful.
But she wasn't the only person that wore sheer pants like that. Y'all remember when Barbara Streisand won her first Oscar? She tripped over her pants leg, but it was a sheer pants that showed off her butt crack. Because when she remembered the moment when she tripped over, somebody saw, oh, I see your butt crack.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Okay,
but that's a moment though in Hollywood history that you know. But still, hello, gorgeous, but her butt crack was showing.
Well, but you know, the Queen of Sheer. Okay, then we'll talk about Sierra. Then we're gonna move on. The Queen of Sheer garments is Cher.
Oh,
okay, yes. I mean, Cher, that year that Cher wore that to the Oscars from, was it Moonstruck? She wore that outfit on? He was like, Cher, girl.
Bob Mackie always dressed her well.
Yeah, but that wasn't well. That was, she was the top with all that on. And she had, I mean, she just that really had
JB. Yes, that.
You're right. She had a just enough of her nipples, and that was it. You know. But anyway, let's see Sierra real quick. We got to move on. All right.
Come on, Sierra. Come on. Sierra was giving.
Right. Yeah, she gave
it. But not for the church ladies, but she was giving it.
Come on now.
Okay.
3 babies later.
That reminds me of something that Halston would have dressed for during the 70s, during the Studio 54 era. Okay. You think they would have worn that during that time?
Probably.
That's like a Halston original.
I think it was. I think that was either somebody. I know it was somebody that did that for her. But anyway,
all your cousins were just talking about her, talking about she married with 3 kids and her husband. What's wrong with her? She say she a Christian, as if what you wear defines your character or anything like that.
Because some of these Christians be zipped up from head to toe, and just the
Right.
evilest people out there.
Right.
Why would you put your Midwestern, Southern, Eastern values on Hollywood? You are not. This is
right.
not.
She don't work at the Kroger.
Thank you. That's what I've been trying to figure out.
Right.
Like, why are you putting your expectations on somebody who works in a different industry than you would work? Because you work in an office or at Walmart, no judgment, but you're not going to wear that.
Right.
And if you do.
And if you do,
where is it on the Bible?
I don't know. There you go. I don't know.
Let's talk about that now. That
look at them skin
ridiculous.
I don't know what this is, but
I don't know what that is.
But
that's the double
case,
standard,
right? So you know,
in
I mean,
Sierra's case, work it if you can, if you want to, if you want to.
Well, you know, real quick, you know, and that's one of the reasons why Megan Good decided to, and Devon decided to not to be a couple anymore, because you know the shaping of what she thought that she could present to, you know, as an actor, you know, that community, the church community, didn't want her to see that. Well, so she's like, "I'll see y'all later. I'm going to act." But anyway,
but what if a man would let's turn the tables? What if a man would have came to the award show like that? With a sheer suit on, with only would he be wearing a jock?
it depends. It depends on the man.
Well, then there probably would have been a lot of happy men on the red carpet. Okay?
I would have supported that. I was like, thank you for being courageous. That was a courageous.
We did fail to mention the men real quick. So we did.
If Jonathan Major showed up in a Sear outfit, I'd be like, "Yes, Jonathan, yes."
He was doing Frederick Douglass tease very well. Frederick Douglass.
So real quick, we didn't mention the men, but I do want to mention about Jonathan Major then real quick. But anyway, so if we can see the best dressed men real fast, you know, we need to. The Rock, I think, had it hands down with his pink, his full pink tuxedo. I made it look really, really good. So he had it hands down. And then the other
color palette.
Yes, exactly. And this other gentleman, I can't think of his name, had the sash around the waist, you know, that was really
and Michael
nice
B. Jordan's Louis Vuitton.
Right, Michael B. And
so nice.
it was, and as well as Jonathan Majors, you know, they both did, I think, very well in this. So speaking of that, real quick, you know, I want to address this issue we talked about last week, a week before last. This hugging, okay. Y'all, hugging, okay, men hugging, men embracing, okay, men loving each other for who they are as representation and not based on sexuality. Excuse me, those that y'all, woof, okay, y'all get a GD life, okay, all right. I mean, really, men grow the F up. Okay, and stop this. You know, this has been lingering on. It got even further because when Jonathan hugged Michael B. during his award, they inflamed that. They made that more than what it was. I mean, hold on. Just stop this. You know, just stop it.
Immature.
You know. I mean, you know, and it's a shame that men cannot embrace each other. Typically, men of color. This is a shame. It has nothing to do with your masculinity.
But I think there's a certain situation that's going on because I don't think nobody blew it up. I think there was a certain demographic, a certain tribe who blew it up. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, nobody was paying that no attention. You know, if you're on Twitter like I am, and you see who is paying that attention. Giving it so much, given who is blowing it up, those people don't know. Or let's just say this:
you're being nice.
People who have trauma or some type of issue with men embrace. That is a situation that's with them. Because I didn't even see nothing gay about the embrace. I didn't see nothing even embrace about the pictures themselves.
Right.
I thought honestly, it looked like a great picture of really a male beauty, especially within the African American look. Right. The actual, you know, the features, the black and white, it just looks so nice. But to be honest with you, you have very, you know, you have an audience that just don't care for stuff like that. And like to throw people underneath the bus and call out their sexuality because they themselves have issues with them. Right. Basically. So Parnell, I'm sorry for cutting you. Go ahead.
No, you right on with it. I love Roland Martin talked about that. He's like, that's the dumbest shit I never seen. This whole argument over it. And I'm like, thank you.
It's ridiculous. Did you have a point, Harold, real quick? Okay, like I said, y'all, grow the up, okay?
Harold don't watch TV. He didn't see it.
I thank you for popping those up real quick. Yeah, he was the gentleman in the center was actually I liked his outfit very well. And just real quick, what's his name? The guy from Elvis. He need to eat. Yes, he need to eat, y'all. I'm telling you, that man on the. I thought he was gonna blow away. I'm serious.
If Frank Sinatra would have been alive, he would have said he would have flew away.
Right. He literally, you could have folded him up and put him in an envelope. He was that skinny. Yeah, I mean, he must be getting ready for another role or something.
Yeah, that was giving me 40s Frank Sinatra
way too skinny.
Like,
but anyway, we got to move on. We got to keep the rest of this out of the way.
Let's go.
So, you had another point.
Oh, no, you good.
Okay.
You good.
So what was another point? That's somebody had another point.
A break. The other point was a break.
This one I was ready to dig in. Okay. All right. We'll be right back after this break, guys. All right. All right, we're back. Yeah, that's a great awesome. great shot. You know, and I love how they had. We did talk about this, you know, on the show. I love how the photographer just said, just lay there. You know what I mean? And just feel the moment. You know, they were talking about, you know, I think it was what magazine it was. They were talking about in the inspiration about how those shots were done, you know, and just tell them just to lay there and just be. And it brought about such warmth, you know, and such love. You know, that's just great.
And it's not an agenda.
No, I mean,
there's no agenda with that. It's just a picture. But the fact is, even when we're talking about Sierra and that dress, it's this certain tribe that feels like there's an emasculation agenda going on with the fact that a woman wearing a sheer dress is emasculating her husband, and then that is emasculating the worldview of what a man should not be doing. This thing about alpha male, beta male, cipher male, you know, it's getting ridiculous. It's like, come on now, let's just be human. Let's just that. And I feel like it, you know, I feel like with that type of energy, it's bringing ruin upon society, because now we're trying to figure out how should we all act if it's wrong to act like this. Now how should we act? It's it's getting out of control. But you know, get off of Twitter. Basically, just get off of Twitter.
We'll talk about Twitter. Just say about you who will be back on Twitter. Harold, go ahead. I know you want to talk about the situation in Mississippi. You want to bring that up?
No, I just wanted to mention real quickly before. Well, I really wanted to talk more about that. About the fact that Trump is going to jail as opposed.
I know we're going to do that. I was going to say that for the last part.
6 minutes. We're running out of time.
Right. So I know I was going to say that for the last couple of minutes because that's exciting. So you know, but go ahead about Mississippi real quick.
Well, no. So it's just really shocking that in 2023 that what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi, is actually happening.
Yes.
Where this white majority led legislature is trying to get it where they can appoint the judges and have all these stipulations for a community that's largely African American. And so it's just really, I don't watch TV, so I don't know if there's a lot of outrage and coverage of this on the news, but I'm just really surprised by this.
Right. It's not like it should be. It's certainly not like it should be, and I don't know if it's just because it's centralized in that particular area, whatever, and that's central news versus, national news, because I don't think all of us will hear about it unless it becomes really inflamed, and then
how things like this happen. If they can get it to pass there, then it'll spread.
Right, absolutely.
But it's just, and to add on to that, you have the missing the guy that got abducted. His name was Rasheen Rael Carter. That's getting some steam because Ben Crump is down there with the family. But the fact that murder has happened right after that event that you're now talking about is, one thing I'm trying to understand, because God bless you, Fannie Lou Hamer. Because I know she's rolling around in her grave saying, I have put so much effort and work into Mississippi trying to get things accomplished. But then you have certain blacks down there who are not doing the job. You have to get out there regardless of fear. You got to make your presence known, because it can always turn back the time. State laws are getting rolled back, not only within racism, but within the homophobia of certain situations as well. With gay rights and all that stuff, trans rights, all of this stuff is rolling back because people are not paying attention, because we're fighting amongst each other. Going back to what we were talking about with the toxic masculinity and all that are just distractions. Because we're so worried about what's going on in somebody's bedroom and whose wife is wearing a sheer dress, we're forgetting that our lives are being disrupted. And in places like Mississippi, where that sentiment is coming from, in certain places, that is the state itself that we need to be worried about. Mississippi and Florida. Because Florida is really telling y'all we're going back. And Mississippi don't give a damn. Like Miss Nita Simone said, Mississippi goddamn. Mississippi goddamn. Two behind the two. Mississippi has never been right. So if you are black and you're living in states like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Tennessee, and now we're in California too, wake up. Wake up, because hell, if you don't make your presence known, hey, that tells certain ones we can roll back, because they're not voting, they're not getting involved. So pay attention, people.
Stop worrying about who people hugging and who people wearing, and worry about stuff that really matters.
Worry about stuff that really matters, like rolling into this next subject, Trump going to jail. That really matters.
Come on now, where's my?
We need a celebration. We need a woo everything. We should have balloons dropping. Okay, add that particular. Real quick, I know some things about the people that said on Twitter about that mess as well. Talking about if he does go, they're gonna overthrow the government again. Certain food, and then there was another meme that came behind and said, "No, the F you won't."
Okay.
Well, what makes you think they wouldn't try?
I know. Time? I mean, exactly. I know.
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene said if she was a part of it, they would have won, and she still have her job in Congress. So
that
I don't put it past them. I'm just
for real. So we got to bring it to a close. Okay, it has been a wonderful night. Real quick, I want to remind you guys, please tune in next week. Yes. We are starting bi-monthly a financial benefit for everyone. Okay, Dr. Tony will be with us next week, starting to encourage about financial and getting finances in line to be helping the African American community as well as everybody. So he will be here for a segment next week. Okay, and be here. Okay, it's gonna be really good. This man's powerful. He's known all over California, so we're honored to have him to want to spend some time with us. Next week. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Quick wrap. Hey, tonight. Look, all I'm gonna say to you guys is, look, mind your own damn business,
please.
Love everybody. Okay, and hug somebody. Please. All right. At the end of the day, then you do all that. You got it all. You got it all together. All right. Well, we had a great night here on the Truth Behind the Truth. We'll see you next week. Thank you for all of you guys that tuned in tonight. We appreciate it. Susan, thank you so much for being here as well, and everybody that we mentioned, Facebook people. Hey, we love y'all. Have a great night, fellas. We'll see y'all later. Love y'all. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to what? The Truth Behind the Truth. Thank you, guys.